Okay, so the same administration that bombed Iran's nuclear facilities last June and told you the program was, quote, obliterated, is now telling you they had to bomb Iran again because of an imminent nuclear threat. The nuclear program they already destroyed. The one their own intelligence chief said Iran made no effort to rebuild. That program. Somehow it's an emergency again. So this past Thursday, the House Intelligence Committee held its annual Worldwide Threats hearing. DNI Tulsi Gabbard, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, FBI Director Kash Patel, all of them sitting right there, and Representative Jimmy Gomez just started asking the most basic question imaginable. Was Iran weeks away from a nuclear weapon, yes or no? And what followed was one of the most revealing 5 minutes of congressional testimony I have seen this year. So watch this clip. Watch Gomez try to get a straight answer out of Gabbard. Watch her dodge it over and over, and then watch the moment Ratcliffe says out loud that only the president gets to decide what an imminent threat is, and Gomez looks at both of them and says, then why do you even have jobs? This clip's about 5 minutes. Pay close attention to what they don't say, because that's where the real story is. If you're not subscribed, hit that button now so you don't miss the breakdown after. Let's get into it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to get right into it. Director Gabbard, last year you testified that Iran was not building a nuclear weapon. Do you stand by that statement? Yes or no?
Context matters with that statement.
Yes or no?
Iran had all of the materials and capabilities to do so.
Mr. Chairman, I reclaim my time. It's an easy answer. You either stand by what you said last year or not.
It is a serious question that requires the totality
Director Gabbard,
of the information
I reclaim my
available.
time. I reclaim my time. When President Trump was asked about your testimony, he said you were wrong. Were you lying or not?
I stand by the intelligence community's complete assessment.
Director Ratcliffe, when it came to the director's testimony, she said that Iran was not building a nuclear weapon last spring in Congress. And so the Supreme Leader has not authorized the nuclear weapons program. Do you agree with what she said or not? Yes or no?
The director's right here. She can speak for herself.
Oh, so I thought this was an intelligence community briefing. Let's move on. Trump also said he didn't care what you thought or said. Should he care about what you have to say when it comes to intelligence?
I continue to provide the president with the intelligence community's assessments on all matters.
So let me just kind of get this straight. The department, you said that Iran was not building a nuclear weapon last year. President Trump said he didn't care what you thought, and you were wrong. They engaged in Operation Midnight Hammer. He then says it was obliterated. We hear later reports that in open source reporting that it was only set back by a few months. Then at the beginning of this war, he said that they were weeks away. I just want to kind of get a sense of, were they weeks away of achieving a nuclear weapon? Yes or no?
Congressman, this is a serious matter, and you've made some very serious mischaracterizations
yes
here.
Yes or no? Were they weeks away?
It would be a disservice to you and the American people to answer this question with a mere yes or no.
Reclaiming my time. Were they weeks away or not? The American people need to know if this was an imminent threat or not. If they're weeks away or not. If they're months away or not. None of this dodging. Were they an imminent threat? Yesterday you said that only the president, the only person who can determine what is an imminent threat is the President of the United States. Do you stand by that statement?
Yes, I do.
Director Ratcliffe, do you agree with that assessment? That the President is the only person that can determine if something is an imminent threat or not?
The president, as commander-in-chief, gets to make a decision about what's an imminent threat. The intelligence community, well, the intelligence.
Reclaim my time. Reclaim my time.
Intelligence community has provided a body of intelligence that supports
the reason why
the decision
is that if the president can determine and ignore what you're doing, why do you guys even have a job? Why do you even advise them? So you're saying tomorrow the president of the United States can say China is an imminent threat, and then he can take his own. No matter what the intelligence says, he can take his own action. So that's what you're basically saying. Okay, let's go on. Director Gabbard, you said that North Korea has intercontinental ballistic missiles that can reach the homeland. Yet, the Defense Department said that Iran was at least 10 years away from achieving an intercontinental ballistic missile that can reach the homeland. Which one is a more serious threat, North Korea or Iran?
These threats are taken within the context of the in total body of intelligence reporting.
So that's, it should be, and that's my point. It's not just about having the capability of building a weapon. It's if they can actually deliver that weapon, if they can, they have the intention of doing that. How many weeks away are they? We haven't heard that there were weeks away. We haven't heard that there were months away. But that's what we're waiting for. Imminent, to me, means is that they're mobilizing troops. They're moving things into position, artillery. They're getting ready to attack. But everything that we've heard.
All right, so let's talk about what you just watched. Because what happened in that room is not complicated. A congressman asked the director of national intelligence a yes or no question. Was Iran weeks away from a nuclear weapon? And she could not say yes. She wouldn't say no either. She just kept saying, this is a serious matter. You're making mischaracterizations. That's not an answer. That's a filibuster in a chair. And here's why that non-answer matters so much. During a contentious House Intelligence Committee hearing, Gabbard and Ratcliffe were pressed on the justifications for Operation Midnight Hammer, the June 2025 strikes on Iran's nuclear sites at Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. The White House publicly declared Iran's nuclear program was entirely obliterated. But open-source intelligence and leaked reports suggest the strikes only set the program back by a matter of months. So which is it? Obliterated or delayed? Because those are very different things, and they used one of them to justify a whole new war. And this is where the timeline gets really damning, because the administration kept saying Iran was weeks away from a nuclear weapon. That's what Trump told congressional leaders on March 4th. If we didn't hit within 2 weeks, they would have had a nuclear weapon. But Gabbard's own intelligence community, her own written testimony to the Senate the day before this hearing, said Iran had made no efforts to rebuild their enrichment capabilities since Operation Midnight Hammer, none. So let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. The administration's repeated claim was that Iran was merely weeks away from developing a functional nuclear weapon. They used that to justify B-2 stealth bombers and bunker buster munitions against Fordo and Natanz. But previous testimony from the intelligence community directly contradicted this timeline, stating Iran was not actively building a nuclear weapon at the time. So either the intelligence was willfully ignored, or it was manipulated to manufacture a crisis. Those are your two options. Pick your favorite. Now here's the moment that should have ended the hearing right there. Gomez asks Gabbard, do you stand by your statement from last year that Iran was not building a nuclear weapon? And she says, context matters. Context. You said it under oath 12 months ago. The context is you were telling the truth, and now you can't repeat it because it contradicts the guy who signs your checks. And remember, Trump himself said on camera about Gabbard's assessment, quote, she's wrong. I don't care what she said. That's the president of the United States publicly overruling his own intelligence director. And then Ratcliffe says it out loud. The part that should terrify you. He says the president, as commander-in-chief, gets to make a decision about what's an imminent threat, Gabbard agreed. Think about what that means. The CIA director and the DNI just told Congress on camera that the president alone decides what counts as an imminent threat, regardless of what the intelligence says. If a president can simply bypass intelligence assessments to declare an emergency, the checks and balances designed to prevent impulsive military conflicts are fundamentally broken. That's not me editorializing. That's just what they said. And Gomez hit the obvious follow-up. If the president can ignore you, why do you even have jobs? Why does the intelligence community exist? And neither of them had an answer. Because there isn't one. If the commander-in-chief can override every assessment, every briefing, every finding, and just declare whatever he wants an imminent threat, then intelligence briefings aren't briefings. They're decorations. Now here's the comparison nobody in the administration wants you to make. North Korea actively possesses ICBMs capable of reaching the U.S. homeland right now. Today, Iran, according to Defense Department assessments, was at least 10 years away from achieving similar ICBM capabilities. 10 years. So why was Iran treated as an immediate existential emergency requiring an unprecedented bombing campaign while North Korea's proven arsenal gets handled through diplomatic posturing? Gomez asked this. Nobody answered it. Because there is no answer that doesn't expose the whole thing. And this is where it gets really uncomfortable. The fallout from Operation Midnight Hammer has triggered what you could call an existential crisis within the intelligence community itself. When the administration publicly dismisses your assessments and acts on independent political timelines, what exactly is the point of doing the analysis? Joe Kent, Trump's own counterterrorism director, resigned days before this hearing and said Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. Trump's own guy, 11 combat tours, Gold Star husband. And his assessment was that this war was manufactured, and Gabbard's response to Kent's resignation was telling. She didn't disagree with him publicly. She didn't say he was wrong about the intelligence. She just said the president is responsible for determining what is and is not an imminent threat. That's not a defense. That's a dodge dressed up as deference. And here's what Gomez did that was actually brilliant. He took Ratcliffe's own logic and extended it one step further. He said, so you're telling me that tomorrow, the President of the United States can say China is an imminent threat, and no matter what the intelligence says, he can take his own action. And Ratcliffe just sat there. Because the answer is yes. That is exactly what they're saying. The justification used for striking Iran could be weaponized against any country on earth based on nothing but political whim. That's not a hypothetical. That's a precedent they just set on camera. And that's the deeper problem. This hearing was supposed to be the worldwide threats assessment, the annual check-in where intelligence chiefs tell Congress what's actually happening out there. Instead, it turned into something else entirely. Gomez kept reclaiming his time because Gabbard and Ratcliffe kept trying to run out the clock with non-answers. That's not oversight. That's a battle for narrative control over American foreign policy. And when your intelligence chiefs won't give Congress straight answers about why we went to war, that's not a partisan problem. That's a democracy problem. So here's the full picture. The administration said Iran was weeks away from a bomb. Their own DNI's written testimony said Iran wasn't rebuilding. Their own counterterrorism director resigned and said there was no imminent threat. The IAEA said there's no evidence Iran was building a nuclear weapon, and when asked point-blank whether the intelligence supported the imminent threat claim, the two people in charge of American intelligence said that's not our call. Only the president decides that, and here's what really gets me. Lawmakers argued that true imminence requires mobilized troops, positioned artillery, a clear immediate intention to strike, not hypothetical long-term capabilities. Not maybe someday they could. Actual imminent means imminent, and nobody in the administration could meet that standard because the intelligence didn't support it. So here's the line. If someone brings this up, here's what you say. The president's own intelligence director could not confirm Iran was an imminent threat. His own counterterrorism chief resigned, saying it wasn't. And the CIA director told Congress on camera that it doesn't matter what the intelligence says, because only the president gets to decide. That's not national security, that's a blank check for war. And if that doesn't bother you, I don't know what will. So if this breakdown helped you understand what's actually happening with this war, hit the like button. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Share this with someone who only saw the headlines and not the hearing. Because the hearing is where the truth falls apart. I'll see you in the next one. And one more thing. The word imminent is not a suggestion. It's a legal standard. It's the standard under U.S. law and international law that determines whether a president can launch military action without Congress declaring war. And right now, the people in charge of providing that intelligence are telling you it's not their job to define it. That should be the story. That should be on every front page. The intelligence community just told Congress, on camera, that facts don't determine when America goes to war. The president's feelings do. That's not how this is supposed to work. Full stop.